Next, we're going to talk about the patella, the kneecap. I was thinking about putting the previous video, patellofemoral pain, into the patella section, but the patella has its own conditions that are kind of different from patellofemoral pain, and patellofemoral pain is such a large aspect of knee pain that I felt like putting that in its own section. So I'm going to cover basically three things that could go wrong. Three of the things that can go wrong with your kneecap, with your patella. So the first is called bipartite, tripartite patella, where your patella should form into one bone, but in a bipartite, it forms into two bones, and tripartite, it forms into three bones. And the most common complaint is that people get pain at the separated fragments. So you could just get this picked up with an x-ray. The other thing is patella fracture. This is when the patella bone has broken. And there are basically three reasons why you could get a patella fracture. It could be a direct blow or a fall on the patella. It could be that someone is prone for a fracture because they have low bone mineral density. It could be someone on a crazy diet or just an unhealthy person. And the last is a person who is prone for fracture because of severe knee extension deconditioning, which might happen in a case where someone is post-surgery. The last thing I'm going to talk about with the patella is patella instability. And going into patella instability, there are two categories where there's subluxation, where the kneecap will briefly slide out and then go back in. And then there's dislocation, where the kneecap will pop out completely sideways, usually laterally to the outside, out of its groove. And the subluxation is kind of a minor one. Dislocation is pretty major injury. So this is kind of can happen for many reasons why someone could have patella instability. There could be patella alta. Someone just has a high riding patella. That would be genetic. They could have trochlear dysplasia, which is a more flat trochlear groove. If you remember on the patellofemoral video, that it glides in that groove, and you could just have a really shallow groove, which would make it more prone for instability. And if we talk about pain, someone with patella instability could get symptoms of patellofemoral pain because the kneecap is kind of crashing around in there. Another reason why you could get patella instability, acute trauma. You could also have chronic ligamentous laxity, bony malalignment, connective tissue disorder, or some other anatomical pathology. So I had include a photo here of a person that has patella dislocation, and it's not apparent when their knee is in extension. But when they go 90 degrees and 120 degrees, you can see significant dislocation. It's kind of disgusting to look at. So these are the things that can affect the patella, which is you could have a patella that has not formed into one bone, but multiple bones, and you get pain at the separated fragments. You could have a patella fracture, or you could have patella instability. That wraps it up for the patella.